object to move, we require a large initial effort. And when the object starts moving, if the effort is reduced, even then the object keeps on moving. We require a large energy to start a motion. Similarly, to start an electric appliances, we require a high value of current. Once they started, the current requirement is reduced. For example, an electrical fan or motor requires almost 25 amperes to 50 ampere. It's a very large of current. But when they get started, they hardly consume 4 to 5 ampere of current to keep running. You might have seen the flashlight of a camera. Have you ever think how the camera flashlight produces that much high intensity of light, that much enormous light? Even a camera contains a very small pencil battery or a torch battery. Actually, these appliances contains a device called capacitor, and a capacitor is commonly known as a condenser. A condenser is a device which is used to store energy in the form of charge over it without changing its dimension. The dimension is not changed. A condenser stores charge, but the dimension does not change. Capacitor stores charge and provide it at once when required to an electrical device to start. Also, it blocks direct current DC and allows AC alternating current to pass. A capacitor is a combination of two conductors placed close to each other. So, a capacitor is a device used to store huge amount of charge over it without changing its dimension. A capacitor is a device used to store huge amount of charge without changing the dimension. It stores the charge, but the size of a capacitor does not change. Actually, a capacitor is a combination of capacitor is a combination of two conductors placed very close to each other. A capacitor is a combination of two plates placed very close to each other. So suppose there is two plates suppose there is two plates plate A and plate B. These are two conductors and they are separated by a small distance D. It contains a charge Q and plus Q. So this combination is called a capacitor, and the amount of charge stored in this capacitor depends upon the potential difference over it, that is V. So the amount of charge stored in a capacitor is directly proportional to the potential difference between these two conductors. So if you remove this proportionality sign, we know already we can put a constant C, where C is a constant, where C is a constant, where C is a proportionality constant, and it is known as the capacitance of the capacitor or the condenser. So C will be equal to Q by V. From here we can see the unit of capacitance is, unit of charge is coulomb and unit of potential is volt. So unit will be coulomb per volt, and this coulomb per volt is known as farad. Farad. 1 farad is a very large amount of charge. So the small unit we use is microfarad, nanofarad, or the picofarad. So 1 farad is equal to 10 to the power 6 microfarad mu f. F is capital. Sometime it is written as MFD. Okay. So you will find in some capacitor, instead of microfarad it's written MFD. So 1 microfarad is equal to 10 to the power 6 microfarad, and that is equal to 10 to the power 9 nanofarad, and it is equal to 10 to the power 12 picofarad. These are the very commonly used small unit we use for a capacitor. So in this way we understood that a capacitor is a combination of two conductors placed very close to each other. So the capacitance C is equal to Q by V, and the unit is coulombs per volt, and that coulombs per volt is known as farad, and most commonly used the unit is microfarad and also picofarad and sometimes nanofarad. The capacitance of a capacitor depends upon shape of a plate or the conductor, size of a conductor or capacitor, geometrical placing, where the conductor is placed, shape of the conductor, size of the conductor, geometrical placing, and material used in between two conductors. So commonly in between two plates we use air. There is air or maybe vacuum. So two plates A and B. So the capacitance of this capacitor depends upon shape of the plates, size of the plates, how much bigger or smaller, geometrical placing, where it is placed, and material used in between. There may be air or some other material in between. So these are the four things on which the capacitance of a capacitor depends. Now according to this, there are three types of capacitor we have to study. First of all, parallel plate capacitor. Number 2, spherical capacitor, and number 3, Depending upon the material used, depending upon the shape, there are three types of capacitor in use. That is a parallel plate capacitor, a spherical capacitor, and cylindrical capacitor. Now, one by one, we will discuss about these three capacitor. First of all, the parallel plate capacitor. Parallel plate capacitor. Actually, in parallel plate capacitor, two plates, as I told, two plates, say A and B, this is plate A and this is plate B, are placed at a distance D. The area facing these plates are, suppose, A, and this is the charge, capital, okay, well, I will write capital, minus Q charge, this plate is positively. Suppose the charge density sigma is Q by A. Charge per unit area is Q by A. Now, according to Coulomb's law, electric field intensity E will be equal to sigma by epsilon 0 as from the Gauss law. So that will be equal to sigma is Q by A. So it is Q by A epsilon 0. Now what will be the potential difference between these two plates? Potential difference V is equal to E into D. So it will be equal to Q A epsilon 0 into D. Now capacitance of the conductor, what will be the capacitance? We know capacitance is equal to Q by V. So Q is this much and V is, we calculated Q by A epsilon 0 into D. Now this Q cancel, will be equal to this A epsilon 0 will go up. So A epsilon 0 by D. So capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is equal to A epsilon 0 by D, where A is the area of the face of this plate, D is the distance, this is a small distance, the distance between these two plates, and of course epsilon 0 is the permittivity of free space. Here we use free space as air or vacuum. Now, a while ago we studied the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor when there was nothing in between two plates. We will study, there is a two plate A and B, charge Q plus charge and minus charge, and in the previous case there was nothing in between. Now the second case, of parallel plate capacitor. Suppose there is a dielectric in between and the relative permittivity of this dielectric is, say, epsilon m. The relative permittivity of this free space is, say, epsilon 0 as before. Now the thickness of this dielectric is, suppose, small t, and the distance between these two plates is d. Now, first of all, what will be the electric field intensity due to these two plates for a free space? So EA will be equal to how much? Sigma by epsilon 0, where sigma is the charge per unit area. Now, similarly, EM for this dielectric, electric field intensity will be sigma by epsilon m. Now, what is the potential difference? VA is equal to sigma by epsilon 0 into thickness. So, it is, the free space is D minus T, d minus T. As we know, V equal to Q into, potential difference V equal to E into D. Okay, so here thickness is d minus T. Therefore, B equal to sigma by epsilon 0. And here Bm equal to sigma by epsilon m into this thickness. The thickness of this dielectric is T, so it is T. Now, what will the total potential difference? So V equal to Va plus Vm, that is equal to sigma epsilon 0 d minus T plus sigma epsilon m into T. Now take out sigma. No, this epsilon m, we can write epsilon m equal to epsilon 0 into epsilon r. The permittivity of that dielectric Em, epsilon m, and permittivity of this free space is epsilon 0. So it will be equal to epsilon m equal to epsilon 0 into epsilon r. So we write it here. So it is sigma epsilon 0 into d minus T plus sigma epsilon m we can replace it. So it is epsilon 0 epsilon r into T. So finally we have potential epsilon 0 epsilon sigma by epsilon 0 into d minus T plus T by epsilon r. Now we can write Q by A instead of this sigma. So it is equal to Q by A epsilon 0 into d minus T plus T by epsilon r. Now we are actually interested to calculate the capacitance due to this capacitor, due to this dielectric and the capacitor. So this is C is equal to Q by V. We have calculated V equal to this much. So Q by this much, Q by A epsilon 0 into d minus T plus T by epsilon r. So Q cancel. So it will be equal to A epsilon 0 by d minus T plus T by epsilon 0. So finally C equal to A epsilon 0 by d minus T plus
T by epsilon r.
This will be the value of capacitance if there is a dielectric in between. Okay. Now we will proceed. Now number 2. Nowadays this spherical capacitor is not in that much use, but the construction is two spherical conductor. One is suppose A, this is conductor A and this is conductor B. Both are concentric. Suppose the radius of this small is A and the radius of this is small b. Radius of this bigger sphere is B. Both are conductors and placed at some distance. So distance between this is B minus A. The distance will be B minus A. So both are concentric. Now we want to calculate the capacitance for this condenser. So from here, suppose the case 1, there may be two cases. First case, either this outer sphere is negatively charged and grounded, or you can say grounded earth, so it will be a negatively charged, or it may be it may be possible that another case the inner circle is negatively charged. So first case we will see if the outer surface is negatively charged. and inner surface is positively charged. Then the potential due to this small conductor A is equal to how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 plus q by distance is A. So it will be A. Now potential due to this bigger surface. So B is equal to same 4 pi epsilon 0 potential due to the bigger sphere is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into minus q charge by the distance. This distance is B. So total charge, the total potential will be VA plus VV equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 plus q by A plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 minus q by B. So that will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, q will be common, so it will be 1 by A plus 1 by, no, this will be minus, so it will be minus 1 by B. So it equals q by 4 pi epsilon 0, this will be AB, so B minus A. Now we calculated the potential due to inner and the outer sphere. Now the capacitance will be, the capacitance C will be how much? It is q by V. So q by V is here. So it is q by 4 pi epsilon 0 into B minus A AB. So q will be cancelled. It will be equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 into AB by B minus A. So finally C equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 AB by B minus A. Okay, this is the capacitance. I will have to stop because of that sound. Sorry for the interruption because of that sound. Now we will continue. We were talking about the capacitor and we are talking about the spherical capacitor. A spherical capacitor is composed of two spheres which are conductors and both are concentric. So in the first case we studied that the outer sphere was negatively charged and inner sphere was positively charged. So outer sphere was grounded. So in that case the potential due to the inner sphere dA was calculated 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 and of course this is positively charged, so plus q by A. A is the radius of this sphere. Now the potential due to the bigger sphere is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 and minus q by B. B is the radius of this bigger sphere. Now total potential will be how much? Total potential V will be VA plus VB. That means VA is this much and VB is this much. So total will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q into 1 by A minus 1 by B, and finally q is calculated finally V is calculated q by 4 pi epsilon 0 into B minus A by AB. Now we are interested to calculate the capacitance for this capacitor, the spherical capacitor. So capacitance C is equal to q by V. So q and V will be calculated this much. So q by 4 pi epsilon 0 into B minus A by AB. So q will be cancelled, and finally the capacitance for this case C is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 AB by B minus A. Now what if the inner sphere is grounded and outer sphere is positively charged? So in that case there will be two capacitors. One is because of this and another is because of earth. So I am omitting it. Now second case. In this situation, the same sphere made up of a conductor. This is of radius A and this is radius B. Now this time this inner sphere is negatively charged, or say it is grounded, earth, and this bigger sphere is positively charged. The bigger sphere is positively charged. In this situation, we have two capacitor. First, because of this A and this B, so potential due to the capacitance due to this AB will be, say, C1, that is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 into AB upon B minus A. Now C2, this outer surface is positively charged and our earth is also acts as a conductor, so it is negatively charged. So there will be another capacitor developed. So capacitance for this will be C2 equal to how much? 4 pi epsilon 0 into this B. So total capacitance C will be C1 plus C2. So 4 pi epsilon 0 AB upon B minus A plus this 4 pi epsilon 0 into B. 4 pi epsilon 0 into B. So total will be 4 pi epsilon 0 taken out. 4 pi epsilon 0 taken out. So AB upon B minus A plus B. So that is 4 pi epsilon 0. LCM is B minus A. So it will be AB and B. So it will be plus B square minus AB. So AB will be cancelled. So finally 4 pi epsilon 0 into B square by B minus A. So capacitance C will be this much. So in this situation, the inner sphere is grounded. So the capacitance for this will be 4 pi epsilon 0 B square by B minus A. Now we will talk about third kind of capacitor, that is cylindrical capacitor. I am omitting it. Cylindrical capacitor. As name suggested, two cylinders, both are on the same axis. So one is this and another cylinder is this. This cylinder is of radius A and this cylinder has radius B. The outer cylinder is negatively charged, that means it is earth, and inner sphere is positively charged. This is the axis. Both are having the same axis. So in that situation, the electric field intensity E is equal to how much? 1 by 2 pi epsilon 0 into lambda by r, where lambda is the charge density per unit length. So per unit length, as from the Gauss theorem, electric field intensity due to a conductor, it is cylindrical conductor, it is 1 by 2 pi epsilon 0 lambda by r, where lambda is, this is the length L. So but E equal to minus dV by dr. From here, if you want to take out dV equal to E dr equal to, so from here dV equal to minus E dr. Now put the value of electric field intensity here. So it will be 1 by minus sign 1 by 2 pi epsilon 0 lambda by r into dr. Now total potential V will be dV equal to minus 1 by 2 pi epsilon 0 into lambda and 1 by r dr. Now integrated from where to where? This is radius A and this is B. So we will integrate from A to B. So this is A, this is B. From B to A. So it will be equal to how much? Minus lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0. Integration of 1 by r is how much? Log r. A by B. That is equal to minus lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 log A minus log B. This sign, move this sign inside, then it will be lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 into log B minus log A, and we can write lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 log B by A. So finally capacitance. Therefore the capacitance for this cylindrical capacitor is how much? Q by V. Here Q is lambda into L. Q is how much? Lambda into L. So C equal to lambda into L by lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 log B by A. This lambda cancels. It will be equal to 2 pi epsilon 0 into L by log B by A. So finally the capacitance for a cylindrical capacitor is C equal to 2 pi epsilon 0 L by log B by A. Okay. So we studied according to shape, we studied three kind of capacitor. One is parallel plate capacitor, another is spherical capacitor, and the third one is cylindrical capacitor. Now what about the total energy stored in it? It will be, if we calculate, it will work for all these three capacitor. So total energy stored in a capacitor. As for we discussed, a capacitor is a device which can store huge amount of charge without changing its shape. So a capacitor can store charge, that means a capacitor can store energy. So if you are interested to calculate how much energy a capacitor can store, first of all we will have to calculate the total work done to put a charge on a capacitor. As we know, the work done is equal to the potential difference between the two conductor into charge. Suppose the work done to put a charge to charge a capacitor is dW, then it will be equal to the potential difference V into a small charge dq. Suppose for an instance we are trying to charge a capacitor, so the as much as charge we can store, the as much work will be done. So dW, a small dW will be equal to V into dq. Now if we integrate it, we can calculate the total work done, that is equal to V dq, and this the charge is from initially the capacitor was 0 charge and finally suppose it is q charge. Now what is the value of V? V equal to how much? We know C equal to Q by V. So from here V equal to Q by C. So put it here 0 Q, V equal to Q by C dQ. So this is the capacitance. So I will take it out. So 1 by C injection 0. This is Q into Q dQ. Okay. So that will be equal to how much? That will be equal to 1 by C. If we integrate Q, so it will come Q square by 2 from 0 to Q. So that is equal to, here I will write 1 by C upon Q square by 2 finally. So you can write it 1 by 2 Q square by C, that is equal to, instead of Q we will write how much? As we know, Q equal to, C equal to Q by B. So instead of Q we can write CV equal to Q. So it will equal to 1 by 2 C capacitance into the potential difference square by the capacitance C. That will be equal to 1 by 2 C square V square by C. So finally work done W is equal to this square and C will be cancelled. So it will be half CV square, and that much energy it can store. So the static energy it can store, the amount of work done by charge to store in it. So we can write the energy. So work done is equal to energy. So energy U equal to half CV square. Okay. So this much amount of energy a capacitor can store. It depends upon the capacitance of the capacitor and the potential difference between the two plates. So it is equal to how much? The energy stored is half CV square. Like kinetic energy half mv square. Similarly, the energy stored in a capacitor is half CV square. Now, in day-to-day life, we use different values of a capacitor, and it is not possible to collect all the values of capacitor all together. So what we will do? We combine two capacitor to make another value of capacitor. So there will be a different kind of combination. It may be a series combination, as you might have studied in your previous classes, 10th class, combination of resistance. So similarly here we study combination of capacitor. There are two ways we can combine two capacitors, two or more capacitor to obtain a newer value. So one may be series combination, and another way we can combine to obtain a new value. So it will be a parallel combination. Or third may be mixed way. So we will not discuss mixed way. So first is series combination of a capacitor and another is parallel combination of a capacitor. In an electrical circuit or electronic circuit, we use different symbol for different electrical components. Like resistance, we use this symbol. Like bulb, we use this symbol. Like switch, we use this symbol, and so on. So in the same way, we use a specific symbol. This symbol is used for a capacitor. We will use it, and or this way. We can symbolize a capacitor by this symbol or by this symbol. The only difference is this indicates there is no polarity, though there is no specific polarity. We can combine any terminal with anyone, but this symbol is used to specify a terminal. In this case, this is positive terminal, this is negative terminal, but here this may be positive, this may be negative, this may be negative, this may be positive. As in the case of a battery, the bigger one is positive terminal and the smaller one is negative terminal. But in this case, capacitor, we can show a capacitor by two parallel equal line or by one curved line or one straight line, this way. Okay. Now we will discuss first one, the series combination. First one is series combination. Of a capacitor. Let us consider few capacitor. One capacitor, another capacitor, and let us consider three capacitor. Okay, so this is the three capacitors. Capacitance is C1, C2 and C3. This is the, suppose this is a positive terminal, this is negative terminal, this is positive terminal, this is negative terminal, this is positive terminal, this is negative terminal. Okay. The charge Q, minus Q, plus Q, minus Q, plus Q, minus Q, so sorry, this is plus Q, total charge. Okay. Now let us consider three capacitors. So series combination is the combination in which the negative terminal of first capacitor is connected with the positive terminal of second capacitor, and the negative terminal of second capacitor is connected with the positive terminal of first capacitor. This kind of combination is known as the series combination of a capacitor. Now, if we connect it through a circuit, so what will be the potential difference between each capacitor? Suppose this one is V1, potential difference between this capacitor is V2, and potential difference between this C3 capacitor is V3. And the charge Q, suppose Q charge is, now charge will move from that direction, so Q charge. So total charge will move from all these three capacitors will be Q. Okay, this capacitor, the charge will pass Q. From this capacitor, total charge will pass Q. For instance, the charge will pass Q. So from here, the total potential difference V will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. We know V equal to how much? V equal to, as we know, capacitance equal to Q by V. So therefore B equal to Q by C. So B1 will be Q by C1, B2 will be Q by C2 and B3 will be Q by C3. So put it here. So this will be Q by C. Total resultant capacitance will be equal to B1. So it will be Q by C1 plus B2 will be Q by C2 and Q by C3. Take out Q. So from here Q by C equal to Q is taken out. So it will be 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So Q1 cancel. So finally 1 by C equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. This is the combination. So if we are interested to find out the value of capacitance, total capacitance, resultant will be the equivalent capacitance will be 1 by C equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. If there is only two capacitor, then 1 by C equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 or C equal to C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. Okay. Or this may be the result. If number of capacitor is more, then 1 by C will be equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 plus 1 by C4 plus 1 by C5 and so on. Okay. Now we'll talk about parallel combination.
Now, parallel combination of a capacitor. Parallel combination of capacitors.
Now this time consider again 3 capacitor, 1 capacitor, 2 capacitor and this is third capacitor, and the capacitance is C1, C2, C3. This is positive terminal, these are positive terminals and these are negative terminals. So when we connect all positive terminal at a point and all negative terminal at another point, in this situation this combination is called a parallel combination of a capacitor. What is a parallel combination of capacitor? When all positive terminal is connected at one point and all negative terminal is connected at another point. So this combination is called a parallel combination. So potential difference between this is V, and suppose Q charge. So here Q1 charge, in this branch there will be Q2 charge, in this capacitor will be Q3 charge. So now this time total charge is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, and we know C equal to Q by V. Therefore Q equal to C into V. Therefore Q1 will be equal to C1 into V. This time Q2 equal to C2 into V. Q3 equal to C3 into V. Therefore we can write, instead of Q we can write C into V equal to C1 V plus C2 V plus C3 V. Now take out V, so it will be equal to V common C1 plus C2 plus C3 equal to CV. So V cancel. Finally C equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So if capacitor are connected in parallel, then if number of capacitor are connected in parallel, in that situation the resultant value of capacitor will be the algebraic sum of all the capacitor. So here there are 3 capacitors, so it is C1 plus C2 plus C3. If there will be a case when two capacitors are connected in parallel, then total capacitance will be C1 plus C2. If number of capacitors are connected in parallel, then C equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus C4 plus C5 and so on. Okay? Now, I am omitting it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you understood the concept of a capacitor.